Superintendent of Fauquier County Public Schools with another edition of One Hard Question. This week's hard question comes from Barbara, who asked the following. It seems that all of our students must be technology experts based on the way society is advancing. So in this context, is technology competence the responsibility of one person at the school or the responsibility of all teachers and staff? Thanks for the question, Barbara. This is one of those issues that I actually have a lot of thoughts about, but I'll try to keep them brief. Um, first and foremost, when you say whose responsibility is it for kids to be technology experts, it's really hard to lay that on teachers and schools because in many cases the kids are more uh, experts in terms of technology than we are. My children certainly are. Um, so it's difficult to kind of lay that at the feet of anyone and say, well, it's this person's responsibility or it's that person's responsibility. It's really all of our responsibilities, and to that extent, it's important that all of us, especially those who are directly involved with educating kids in Fauquier County, it's important that we all are staying up to date and competent in terms of what we are providing in the classroom relative to technology. We do that, we provide that through our staff development programs, especially our curriculum fair, which we hold in the spring, um, which is typically very heavily laden with technology offerings. But it's everyone's responsibility to sort of keep up to date. But as quickly as things change, it makes it harder and harder to stay on top of sort of what's out there relative to technology. And frankly, in the case of many teachers, they're so busy teaching, the standard curriculum. It's sort of hard to add that piece onto it. It's just very difficult. But the broader answer to your question is it's all of our responsibilities. We all need to make sure that we're helping students understand and sort of delve into what's out there relative to technology. But the fact is they're doing it without us in many cases. But the second part of your question is I think the one that's most, or the first part of your question is the one that's really most salient. Here's the big issue with technology as I see it. We have to stop looking at technology as sort of this separate, um, toy over here that we get to sometimes play with, and it's sort of you know, uh, the special thing that we do in the classroom. What we have to get to is what we have in the private sector, for example, where technology is just it's interwoven within everything that we do. I mean, it's a part of what we do every single day, no matter what job you do. And keep in mind, technology, in some respects, an overhead projector is technology. Okay, so that's or 150 years ago, a slate board and a piece of chalk was technology. Okay, so um, there's lots of different forms of technology, and they're all sort of interwoven into what we do. But what we've got to pull away from, and I think we're heading in the right direction, is looking at technology as this separate kind of special thing that we pull out every once in a while and use and then put back on the shelf. It doesn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way. It should be sort of interwoven. But I'll finish with this. Nothing is ever going to replace that relationship in the classroom between the teacher and the student. Nothing will ever replace that. No matter what we buy or institute division-wide, nothing is ever going to replace in terms of the magnitude of impact on students, the relationship that exists between teacher and the student in the classroom. Okay, and that can or cannot involve technology, use of technology. It may or may not, but it's of the utmost importance. And gradually, as teachers especially become more and more adept at the use of technology, things like Blackboard, for example, it benefits the students ultimately. But technology changes so quickly. We just had the folks from Blackboard in a couple weeks ago to tell us about their new thing, which is really awesome, but it's going to require more training, etc. It's a new sort of a new way to post lessons and things like that on Blackboard. So anyway, I don't know if this answers your question, but this is something I think about frequently, especially around budget time, because technology is also very expensive. So anyway, I hope this answers your question, and please keep the good questions coming. Thank you.